Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Aamir Abbas, and today we'll be introducing the concept of machine learning and its application in biomedical data science and some important relevant concepts. So let's jump directly into the contents of our today's talk. I'll be talking about machine learning, why to use machine learning, some key concepts, application of machine learning in biomedical science, some challenges and considerations. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence that focuses on building systems capable of learning from data, making predictions or taking decisions without being explicitly programmed. It's like teaching a computer to recognize patterns, make decisions based on examples rather than following a step-by-step instructions. So what can be machine learning used for? There are several use cases of machine learning, and I've explained a few of them as examples. For example, machine learning can be used in the drug development process, and you may be aware that drug development is a very expensive process. The process of converting a molecule into a drug takes a lot of money, and that process, the efficiency of that process can be improved substantially if you use machine learning during that process. Machine learning can also be used to diagnose different diseases, to do the risk stratification, to identify the risk population at high risk of a particular condition. And I will emphasize over here, and if a machine learning model is used on a representative data, on a data which captures most of the variability in the population, and on a data in which the bias has been reduced, then the cost of detection of these diseases can be substantially reduced. This data can include data like images, genetic records, patient records, etc. Machine learning can be used to provide personalized care to the individuals based on their genetic data, again, based on their records and health history. There are some key concepts related to machine learning, and the first concept which I want to talk about is the data itself. And what I want to emphasize over here is that when we talk about machine learning, then a lot of emphasis on about different types of algorithms, different complicated concepts. And I tell those people that, look, you can get all that done easily, but the key thing which is required to be done, and the key factor which is required to be considered, is the data itself. If you have the right data, then you will be able to come up with a good machine learning model. But if your data is of low quality, then that will all translate into different types of problems. For example, if your data has an inherent bias, then that bias will be translated into all the predictions which are made based on that data. What are algorithms? And these are the recipes that guide the computer to learn from the data. Now, there are different terms like supervised machine learning model. Now, supervised machine learning is a type of machine learning model, and that's a type of machine learning model in which we use a label data. For example, in the data, you have a variable which is labeling the individual as disease positive or disease negative. For example, whether a person has cancer or a person does not have cancer, whether a person has diabetes or a person does not have diabetes, and so on. So what you can do is that you can train the data, you can train a model, and you can use that model to predict in the future for the same set of variable. You put in the same set of variable into the data, into the model, and you will be able to predict for the subsequent person that whether that person may be disease positive or disease negative. So this format of use of machine learning is known as supervised learning. And then the next type of machine learning is known as unsupervised machine learning model, as opposed to supervised learning. Unsupervised machine learning model does not use the label data, but you have to identify different patterns within the data, and to have meaning. Then based on those patterns, you will go for some meaningful interpretation. For example, grouping of patients based on similar symptoms, and so on. Then there's a third very interesting type of machine learning model that is known as reinforcement learning. And in reinforcement learning, what you do is that you treat the model just as a child, and you let the model to learn from the data to achieve a target, and to to do something that is desired, and you provide a decision space to the model, and by trial and error the model learns, the model does something, and if the model does the right thing, the model is rewarded, but if it does the wrong thing, it is penalized. And based on maybe thousands or millions of iterations of trial and error, and due to this reward and penalize the mechanism of reward and penalizing the model, you are able to train the model to do whatever you want it to do. So that's a very interesting form of machine learning model, where trial and error is used to make the model learn what you intended to learn. Now, what is the model itself? The result of a machine learning algorithm. This is the result of a machine learning algorithm, and that run on the data, and it enables the computer to make predictions or make some decisions. You will also learn the words like training and testing. So how does that work? The concept is here, for example, you get a data of say 10,000 individual, and a common way is that on 70% of those, like that is 7,000 of those you will train the model, and on 30% of those you will test the model, that how good or bad the machine learning model is performing. And that is the concept, that is a commonly used approach in machine learning model to train a machine learning model. Now, coming to different applications of machine learning model, you can use to predict different things. For example, you can use machine learning model to predict outbreaks, some patient outcomes, whether the patient is going to be rehospitalized or not, whether the patient is more likely or less likely to die within a specified period of time, whether or not there will be a spread of infection or not based on the historical data. So you can use the machine learning. You can also use image analysis, and you can use automated analysis of images for early detection or monitoring of the patients, and you can do risk stratification to identify a subgroup of patients which may be at higher risk of some outcome, and you can provide some services to those, better services to those, or your decision in the clinical care pathway, in the decision tree, you can have some specified, you can risk stratify individuals, and based on those risk stratification, you can make better care pathways for those to ensure that they get better, that the chances of them getting better outcome is improved. You can use genomic and data analysis, and based on that, you can identify people who are vulnerable at risk of different diseases, and you can intervene earlier, so that again the outcomes of these individuals can be increased. You can use machine learning with the help of electronic health records to improve operational efficiencies. You can optimize the processes with the help of that. Now, and with all these proposals, with all these luxuries which are of our thoughts, which we intend to do, there are definitely some challenges which are there in front of us. For example, the first challenge is ensuring the data security, and it is very important while using some machine learning model that the data that is used, that is the security of the data security of the data is secured, and the process in which the machine learning model is trained is ensures the data security, and therefore the privacy of the patients to whom the data belongs. And it goes without saying that everybody is bound to use the data in an ethical way. This is very important, that, as I said a while back, that it is very important. Most of the time we talk about different machine learning models, but we do not talk a lot about the quality of the data. I mean, the good quality data is very much important to have to compute a good machine learning model. Therefore, you need to have a good quality representative data to avoid outcomes that are predisposed to different biases. Because if you train a machine learning model on the data that is biased, then that bias is directly going to translate into the predictions which are made by the machine learning model as well. We intend to make machine learning models that are transparent and understandable to the practitioners, which means that they're interpretable. Now this becomes, you have to identify models which are interpretable to health professionals, and this goes in both ways. For example, machine learning engineers would want to make models which are increasing the accuracy of the model, but at the same time, they would want to recommend models which are interpretable by that. But this is also important that healthcare professionals increase the vocabulary of how different models work. So some flexibility is needed to be shown by machine learning engineers, but at the same time, healthcare professionals, with this increasing utilization of artificial intelligence and machine learning in healthcare, have to improve their vocabulary of different terms and concepts related to artificial intelligence and machine learning to make this happen. Now, regulation around machine learning, that's a very much gray area, and I think a lot of regulatory bodies still are not sure about how to talk about it, how the different errors within machine learning, who will be legally liable if this machine learning model will make some errors, if a wrong decision is taken based on a recommendation, a wrong recommendation by machine learning model. So a lot has to be done, and regulatory bodies need to step in, and a lot of relevant stakeholders, which means the clinicians, relevant professionals, especially regulatory bodies, need to work in clearing the gray area, clearing the uncertainty, so that these algorithms can be made and they can be implemented in the real world for the clinical care of the patients. Moving forward, I would say in conclusion that machine learning is an excellent idea, and it has the ability to transform the way clinical care is being provided. But there are some, and it has it can empower. It has the ability to substantially empower healthcare professionals in making more informed and accurate decision making. It can improve the patient outcomes. It can reduce the error made by the uh, made by the patients, and then it can improve, it can do risk stratification, with the help of which personalized care can be provided to individuals who need more care as compared to others. Therefore, the outcomes of those patients can be increased. The operational efficiency, as we talked about, can be improved with the help of machine learning models, and the resources can be redirected to the places where the resources are actually needed, rather than wasting a lot of resources. But there is also a need of uh, thoughtful implementation. For example, you may make a machine learning model, that's an algorithm. Then how would you take care of the ethical aspects of different things? And there are a lot of, we just superficially touched on different ethical aspects of it, but there are a lot of aspects of ethical use of machine learning model. Then there are legal challenges. Then there are practical logistic challenges. For example, if you need a particular gadget to use different machine learning model in an environment, then how would you use that? So those are also the considerations which are needed to be taken care about. Different machine learning model, people who are interested in implementing machine learning model, and ethics around artificial intelligence and machine learning is a separate new area. And and again, just as I talked about the regulatory bodies, I will also want to communicate this to experts in ethics, that they also have to come forward, and there are some relevant guidelines being made, but those guidelines are needed to be translated into practice, and at the same time, a lot of people are needed to be educated about the ethical aspect of use of machine learning in the real world. Same goes about the legal compliance. Some of the a lot of in a lot of places, we still do not know what is needed to be done, right? Uh, so legal aspects are needed to be clarified, and a lot of uncertainties needed to be removed. Therefore, we are able to use machine learning model, and um, as I said, that we need to talk about. And here's the thing: when you make a model, there will be a lot of unknowns, and you'll learn about a lot of practical things after implementing these machining models in the real world. Then you will know a lot of real world issues that we may not have thought about, and there will be a process of iteration of continuously improving the process, and process of making these models and implementing these models. And as I said, I will urge with this video, I will want to urge the clinicians that they need to start um, start to learn this concept, because if you do not you need to come out of your comfort zones, and because artificial intelligence is going to is coming to transform the way uh, and the way clinical care is being provided. And there will be a time when you will be, it will not be optional to learn about artificial intelligence in these concepts. Therefore, you need to start learning these terminologies, and you need to start integrating these in your research work and your clinical medicine as well, as much as possible. So with that, I would say that I think machine learning experts and clinicians need to work together to maximize the ability of machine learning to improve the healthcare outcomes, and the healthcare professionals need to learn start learning these concepts, and at the same time machine learning engineers need to work on models that are more interpretable by different clinicians. So with that, I would end this video. If you have learned something from this video, please do not forget to subscribe this to our channel, because that helps us a lot in improving the reach of our YouTube channel. Do not forget to share this video with your colleagues. If you have any feedback, please share your feedback in the comment section. I will see you all in the next video.